Well, hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Buzz and happy Women's History Celebration Day. It is International Women's Day, and we are celebrating big. And what a great way to celebrate with starting out my inaugural or re-grand opening, whatever you want to call it today, coming back with the Buzz. Haven't been here since COVID, but I have two special guests today that are going to rock the stage. Let me tell you, I have Superintendent Angela Jones Fitzpatrick, who is going to be coming to the stage. And I also have Dr. Adrienne Terrell. Let me tell you, they are going to come with it today. And so I want you to stop and do me a favor. Tell a friend that we're live and tell a friend that they need to get on right now because there's going to be some nuggets that are going to be shared here today that you just don't want to miss. And so welcome back to the Buzz. I'm so super excited to come back on this day, March 8th. And we're talking about how women are making an impact in the world. We're talking about women's impact. So let's make this thing happen. I'm going to bring our special guests to the stage today, and they are going to come with it. So let them have it today. Can we give a round of applause? I'm so super excited. So super excited to have. Hi, Dr. Adrienne. Hi, Superintendent.
Good morning.
Are y'all working today?
Hello.
You're always working. It's never an off day. It's never an off day.
It's never an off day.
Never an off day.
Never.
Yes.
I'm so super excited that I have gotten you all to come and to share in this space with me today until I just don't know what to do. Thank you so much. So tell us a little bit about yourselves. We'll go with you, Superintendent. Tell us what's happening there in Karnack.
So, good afternoon. I am, as she said, the superintendent of none other than small but mighty Karnack ISD. Yes, we always say that we are Karnack and we do things in a grand way. So, I am so blessed to be on this platform today with none other than Dr. B, who I met in 1994, and I have had the pleasure of watching her grow and excel and become the woman that she is today, the woman of God that she is today. And then again with Dr. Adrienne Terrell. I met her in 1997, and all of us have that one thing in common, the Wiley University. So It's a wonderful thing, y'all, that brought us together. Yeah. But again, I am the superintendent of Karnack ISD, and I love what I do. I touch not only students' lives, adults' lives, parents, guardians, but the community. And if you are in a profession, especially education, such as a time as this, and you don't like it, get out. Get out. Because we need people who are here for students, who are here for their peers, who are here to make a difference in their community. And that's what we do here in Karnack ISD. We make a difference in the lives. We don't care about the number of students we have because whatever student walks through our doors will feel safe, will feel loved, and will have an education that is top tier, that will not go undetermined. Oh, we don't know what they're gonna do in Karnack. Oh, we don't know if we're gonna bring them. If your baby's not here, you might want to get them here because a lot of great things going. Don't underestimate us just because we're small. I said it at the very beginning. We are small, but we are mighty. We love our scholars, and I love what I do. I didn't start out in this, so this is not a job for me. This is a calling. I started out in criminal justice, and then all of a sudden it transformed over into politics. I was in politics for 5.5 years working for a congressman. And then all of a sudden, the dynamics of my life changed. I was a mother, I was a wife, and I had different obligations. And I thought, I'm going to go into teaching and be off every summer. Tell God your plans and watch him laugh. Now I work every summer, but you also got to remember, and this is my last statement, make sure you have a work-life balance.
Yeah.
love what you do, you love your calling, you
Yes.
love your family, you love the people you work with, you love you, because you got to make sure and take care of you. You got to make sure and have a balance. So I am, again, none other than the Angela Fitzpatrick. And you see that master's behind my name, but it's also loading to join these young ladies as doctor. It's loading, y'all. It's coming. I will be a doctor.
It's coming.
Work is worth it, what I am doing now. And the work is worth it for each and every one of my students that I touch in the community of none other than the Karnack ISD.
Woo! I love it. Karnack is so blessed to have you. And I know the sign behind you says, let's glow. And let me tell you, sister, you are doing just that. You're putting the work in of glowing today. And I always, every time I see you, you have your K on. And just always, no matter where you are, representing Karnack ISD. I love it. Thank you so much. Dr. Terrell, tell us why you are not Dr. Moore anymore.
I recently married.
Congratulations.
You can find me under Moore on some things, but I recently married this summer. My best friend, my family, we've been family, our family known each other for decades. So we've known each other forever, and we went ahead and made that commitment.
Well, I'm so grateful for it. It's beautiful. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, the many hats that you wear, because you're a mom of 3, may I say, amazing young men.
Thank you. I work. But God put a lot of people in my life to make it a lot easier. So I thank God for everyone. It takes a village. So I am Dr. Adrienne Terrell, formerly Adrienne Moore Terrell. So I am an educator in higher education. I have 15 plus years, close to 20. So I don't, until I get to 20, I'm 15 plus years in higher ed. My focus has always been HBCUs. That's my passion. That's my love. I learned so much at the Wiley University now. I worked in the public relations office as a freshman, and I just fell in love with the history behind HBCUs. So that has always been my passion in higher ed, helping young Black adults to better themselves, to come out of situations. I have a story, and my story, despite my story, I still was able to do many things and have a amazing undergraduate career, grad career, and even a PhD. Everything comes with work and a story. So higher ed is my passion. I currently teach at Texas Southern University. I am also an author. I wrote 2 children's books for my baby, my last baby, my miracle baby, Rainbow Baby. He's 6 now, but when I had him, his name is Kemet. And Kemet is the original name for Egypt. And so I was like, we're living in a world now where kids don't use their imagination as much. So it's a book that takes you on a journey for kids to use their imagination. It's an empowerment so they can fantasize and see places, and hopefully encourage them to want to go and see different things and learn different things, all with their family in mind. So the title of the books are The Adventures of Kemet Croc and His Cape. He's my 3rd son. I have 2 older sons. My oldest son, he is a graduate of Howard University, and also earned his master's from UT Arlington in organizational, psychology. That is a mouthful. So he has an amazing career. My 2nd oldest son will be graduating this year from TSU in the radio, television, and film program. So I am so happy. And the baby say that he's going to follow in his in Kamari's footsteps whenever he goes to TSU, he changes his mind to visit when he goes to work with me. But he's like, I'm going to Howard with he calls his older brother Marnie. So my passion and my heart and my love is my family. As you guys can see, I also own a nonprofit organization, Virtue's House. I give back to my former high school every year. I give a $500 scholarship, and I also pay for students to take the HBCU Common to apply for. I pay for some of the students to apply for the HBCU Common application. So that gives them room to have their applications to so many HBCUs, and they can select which one they actually would like to attend. So I've been doing that now for 5 years. Yeah, this will be my 5th year. So I just love education. I love helping others. I love family. I love children, and I'm sorry, I'm like Angela. I'm like
we
Angela.
all are alpha
I
kappa alpha women. Yes.
Angela, like education is like you love, you're passionate about kids. And Angela knows I had her daughter when I actually worked at Wiley, her daughter and her son-in-law. Those were my babies. Her son-in-law worked for me as my student worker his entire 4 years at Wiley. So he was my baby. He knows it. He texts me and send me messages. Taylor is too, but Jalen has my heart.
Yes.
So you are literally a boy mom, is what you are.
I am.
When you think about it.
I am.
I really enjoy your book, Dr. Terrell, and let me tell you why. Because a couple of years ago, it's near and dear to my heart, and we haven't shared this discourse before. But the reason that book, not just, of course, because it's you, number one. And I love the adventures. I love the thought process behind Kemet's name. Croc, we are, you and I are from Louisiana, so crocodiles are everywhere, and alligators, and also just the adventure of leaving a place where you are, number one, grounded. And of course, Superintendent Fitzpatrick talked about that the importance of being grounded and having a place, a launching pad. I love that he had that. The book gives that kind of it gives that perspective, and then to leap out of that place and to go and to explore, and just the imagination that's in the book. It is worth it for adults to read the book so that we can get back to the place of imagining. That is something that we have lost, is the ability to imagine, and for adults to be able to play. So I recommend the book for everybody, for an entire house, just to have fun. And you also just kind of moved into the space of giving back. The two of you have been talking about giving back, and of course, Superintendent, you're not far from where you live, and you're giving to these students and seeing how important it is. I've had conversation with you, Superintendent, about all the opportunities that you've actually had to go to other spaces and to work. What made you stay rooted and grounded where you are and see that this is a small independent school district, but there's so many mighty things that could be, because at the heart of who you are is Karnack. Tell us about that.
Yes. So again, as I shared, when I transitioned from each one of the positions that led me to here, I was a mom. I was a wife. Well, I was a mom first. I was a wife. So for those of you that are a single mom and you've never been married, don't give up. Your Boaz is out there. He is out there, and he is waiting on you. It's just not, whenever it is time, it will be time. So I had my daughter. I married my husband. He we blended a beautiful family together of 2 girls, 1 boy. And then we had that one to join in with us to make our family solid. And now we have 2 grandchildren and a son-in-law, which is who she was talking about. Hey, I'm Lolly and my husband is Pops. But as I transitioned to each position, one of the places that I was in at my life, it was what I wanted to do. It wasn't what was ordained by God and what was meant by God. And so I kind of struggled with that, but I learned a lot of things that actually I brought over into this position with me up until the point I got into education. And once I got into education, I thought, wow, this is what I was meant to do. This is what I was supposed to be doing.
Yes.
And then from there, all of the opportunities, the speaking engagements, the workshops, the leaders that were put in front of me, whether I was learning what to do or what not to do, or how I could mix the two together and create it in every situation and facet of my life to be the superintendent here. I never forget, I actually was filling out an application because I filled out plenty of applications as I got to the point of, it is time.
Yeah.
This person can do it, that person can do it. By golly, I can be a superintendent. I was filling out an application and I'm going, and all of a sudden I heard the Lord's voice so clear and said, stop, be still. And I just sat back in my chair and I said, yes, sir. And from that moment, a newspaper article came up in the newspaper, and I got a phone call from my current superintendent at the time. She said, hey, it's time. Fill out the application.
It's time.
As I'm filling out the application, I researched Facebook people pages. I asked questions. I was really very nosy. I could be a detective. That's
the criminal justice side.
It works together.
I was technically the first female to actually finish. We just didn't have a fall graduation, but the first female to finish completion of coursework with criminal justice at the University. So I'm going in and I'm looking and I'm researching and I'm like, this can be a place for me. I definitely can be. I'm only 15 minutes from the front door, from my front door to Karnack ISD front door. And I thought this can be amazing. Now I'm used to having schools and being a principal of schools where anywhere from 400 and something students to close to 750, having anywhere from 80 something to 100 some employees. And then you break it down to the little over 100 students.
Wow.
And I am number 38, the 38th employee. And I thought, okay. So I walked into my interview and I had a conversation. I didn't have an interview. There's a difference, y'all. Yes. Did I have questions that were asked of me? Absolutely. But when you know something is designed and the steps are laid out for you by God, not man.
Yes.
When you know something is designed, nothing you do will fail. And if there are some failure points, those failure points are meant for you to grow and for you to learn not to do again.
Yes.
So I had that conversation with the board. I have the best board ever. It is Saturday, on the first Saturday of our spring break. My board right now, yes, I stepped out and they okay, because guess what? I'm talking about Karnack ISD right now. My board is sitting in our boardroom right now as we speak. And we have been here since 9 o'clock. And yesterday we were here several hours as well with my cabinet, with our Region 7, Dr. Howard. We are working on how can we move forward, because we're going to expect certain things from our teachers. We're expecting even certain things from our parents, because parents, you got a certain standard for our teachers. We should have a certain standard for you as well, because it's a partnership. Well, guess what? The leadership, the board, the cabinet, we have a partnership as well. Our parking lot is full right now because we are busy doing the business of Karnack ISD. How can we grow our students? How can we make sure that our community can grow? Because our district is the hub. It's the hub of Karnack ISD community. And for all of those alumni, I want you to know that we're going to treat it right. You were here. Look at where you are now. We have other students here. We're going to move them forward. So to answer your question, you got to move when God tell you to move. When he tell you to be still and listen, you got to be still and you listen, because every single step that I have been on right now has been led by him.
Amen. That's awesome. That's awesome. That leads me back to something that both of you said earlier. Both of you talked about having a story. And, you know, the preacher calls that a testimony. You had a story entering into Wiley College in 1994, 1997. But now I have been around long enough 30 years in your lives at this point.
Yes.
Mhm.
And I know that these are not just stories, but when the story has an evolution, it becomes a testimony. So, Dr. Terrell, tell us a little bit about that story.
Ooh, okay. Because it really is a story. It happened. So initially I was accepted into Grambling. So I was supposed to attend Grambling State University. But a close friend of mine and I'm like was like a sister. Just found out she backstabbed me. And in my mind, I was like, if I see her, I'm gonna hurt her. So I was like at the point, like, but what do I do? Because I was like, I just, in your mind, it's like, okay, what do? You didn't prepare for anything else, and you really didn't. I really didn't do my due diligence with Grambling either. But my mom's best friend's brother, we lived in Washington State with my mom's best friend before she passed away from cancer. So I lived in Olympia, Washington for probably like 7 months, 6 or 7 months. And so the kids from Olympia, Washington were coming to visit Wiley. You guys remember when all the people from
Yes.
Tacoma and Washington came in 97?
Yes.
Those were my classmates when I lived in Washington in 96. So I stayed in Washington State maybe it was 95 or 96. So those were my classmates. And so they came to visit the campus, some of them, because some of them came from Tacoma and all in that area. But my mom's best friend's brother was like, my nickname is Nikki. So he was like, Nikki, I know somebody, they're going to Wiley. And I was like, I don't know anything about Wiley, but he was like, some of your friends who went to went to Olympia High School with you, they're coming down to visit because they were coming to play volleyball. And I was like, okay, well, I'll come. He was like, I'm gonna come and pick you up and take you up there so you can go visit. So I'm there visiting, and I think, what's his name? The recruiter then was Pryor, right?
Yes.
Mr. Pryor. Mr. Pryor said, girl, you're not in school. You're not in school. School started, the freshman started 2 weeks ago. I'm gonna get you in. Come on.
This is Wiley. That does not matter.
I was like, what? He was like, you're not in school? Come on, I'm gonna get you in. And I was like, okay. I was like, but I got a baby. Like, I was like, and then I had my son. I had a son when I was in high school. So I was like, my mom was like, you know what? We got Kamari. Let me get your stuff you need for school. Everybody, like, we piece made a care package to get me to school because everyone had already started, because I got there Labor Day weekend, so Memorial Day weekend. So Memorial Day weekend, that's everybody had already started, right?
Yep.
So everybody was trying to, okay, we'll get us a sheet. Somebody got me a comforter, for the bed. I don't. It made it. And my mom had bought all of my friends when we graduated from high school a Bible. I packed my Bible. Everybody had their Bible. I packed my Bible. I got my stuff, and my aunts, they wrote down some prayers for me for discernment and prayed over me. And I left. And that's how I got there.
My God. You know what? You just led into the next part of our discussion about your nonprofit. Now I can see the evolution of this nonprofit. I never knew that story. And by you sharing it, I understand where your heart is in this space of giving to students as they tell us how we can support you with supporting students.
Okay, so I do have a website. It's virtueshousellc.com. I'll share it in the chat. Or I'll share it with you, Dr. B, and we can share it that way. But it's Virtues House, VIRTUES, House HOUSE LLC.com, and there's a donation tab, or you can just reach out to me directly. That's pretty much, because I pretty much do it all it's all me. It's all me. So, but I mean, I feel like I'm doing some things now at the university. You guys might not know. I'm a Barbie girl. I'm a girl. I'm a boy mom, but I'm a girl. So I
Yeah.
collect black Barbies. So I am actually hosting a black Barbie exhibit for my students. Now I teach criminal justice as well as I teach speech communications because my background it's in both. And so at TSU, I work in the School of Communications and I teach the introduction course, the Gen Ed. So that's the 1315 or the 1321 course. And that's the public speaking courses. And so I found that many of my students, they have a lot of self-imaging issues. Like the young ladies, they're doing speeches. And so far, every class that I have, I've had two or more students in the class. When they present a speech, it's always about kind of bullying on social media, or it's about not being able to sleep because they're waiting for someone to like or give them a comment on social media. They're looking for that affirmation from someone outside of themselves, and they're having a hard time with imaging issues and how they feel about themselves and how to deal with things. And so I thought that it would be a great idea to show them beautiful things, because you're far away from home, you see a lot of things, we have a lot going on. But like for me, seeing the Barbies and the excitement, me looking for, because I find like old school Barbies, I get like retro Barbies and I look for those things. But seeing something beautiful in a time where you're not acknowledged as much, and we have so many things going on in society where we're put on the back burner as Black women. I wanted to give them an opportunity to see something that's beautiful, and also have like an affirmation to themselves to say how they feel about themselves and their love for themselves. So I'm hosting that event, and so I'm going to have some tickets through Eventbrite. So if anyone wants to just purchase the tickets for the donation, the money that I make from this event, also it's free to my students, but anyone that wants to attend outside of the exhibit, they'll pay, and that money is going towards Virtue's House for the scholarship fund.
Awesome.
You said something that is just bubbling in my spirit, to show them beautiful things. And earlier, there was so much going on, and so much information that I have going on in my head and my heart are so connected right now, that I want my hands in this. And this is why I'm asking about the details of everything, because this is just simply beautiful that you want to show other people beautiful things. So it's point worthy to say here, my father was a coach. And so you all being here is such a nod to him, because superintendent, my father started out in the school system and ended up putting his hands to work, and the work that we do for people, he wanted to also touch lives and do work on that scale as well. And part of his scaling technique was something that you do, Dr. Terrell, and that is he would take his students. I remember being maybe 3 years old, and it was in the day where he had the school bus because he had to take his basketball team home the night before. So we had this big yellow bus, right? And I was super excited to get behind my dad. And I was in the little cubby area behind his seat. And he was driving, and we went and picked up all of these team members. And so these big giant boys were on there, and, they see coach's 3-year-old little kids. So I'm just having the time of my life. But what he was doing, I didn't figure out. I thought I was just going for a ride,
right,
with my dad's team. And when my father passed away, a gentleman walked up to me at work, and he says, "I did not know that you were coach's daughter." And he said to me, "Let me tell you what coach did for me." He said, there was a Saturday. He says, "I think you're the little girl." He says, "I've always thought that you were that little girl that was on the bus." And I instantly knew what he was talking about. And he said, "Coach came, picked us up. And he took us outside of our neighborhoods, and he took us riding around the city.
Wow.
And when he started to say things like, we were like pointing out of the windows and saying, oh my God, is this still Shreveport? Oh my God, Coach, where is that? Coach, who lives over there? Who are these celebrities? They had not seen beautiful things.
Right.
They had not had that broadening. So that's why your book and the adventures of Kemet and Croc, as they go throughout, and and his Kate, that is kind of what he gave them, the ability, supernatural ability that they otherwise would not have had. And so as educators, you do this work, which is, let me tell you, holy work. It is amazing. And for you to continue to give, not just in the classroom, but in just so many facets outside of the work, the tender work that is being done by Karnack. And I've met the folks over at Karnack, and it's a lot of people for a small place. I think everybody in Karnack works for the ISD. Let me tell you, they are super excited about what's going on. They are so invested in the work in Karnack that they can't pull me from Caddo. I feel a little bit of a movement, but they are amazing. Superintendent, you have failed at this point to tell us the good stuff about where you started. Can I give you a hint, like computer lab? Talk about that.
Oh, yes.
I get so excited about where I am now that I always sometimes forget to tell you the journey that I started on. So, of course, being in criminal justice, I was there for a little bit. I rolled over into politics, and then life be lifing. And I thought, now I'm going to have to shift my hat from politics. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I've got other things. I'm going to go into education. Well, back then, the HR director was my former assistant principal. And she said, now, Angela, those of y'all that know Miss Jones, now, teachers don't leave in the middle of the year, but you need to start paying into your TRS. And I said, yes, ma'am. She said, well, I got an aide position for you, and we're going to put you over here. And I know you're going to be a teacher. So I actually started out in a computer lab at the high school as an instructional aide. Don't put limitations on where you can be. I'm a superintendent now. I started out as an aide. Moving forward, the current superintendent at that time, Dr. Ralph Draper, looked at me and said, Angela, what are you doing? He rolling around through the high school, as superintendents do. They go throughout their schools. I had previously worked with him in other areas, so he knew my work. He knew my quality. Let your actions speak for you. And he said, well, I have our district's parental involvement coordinator position open, and yes, we're getting ready to shut it down, but I need you to come over and start working and moving in that within the district. And I said, oh, okay, because he knew what I could do. I rolled over into that position until it was time. I worked with all of the principals in the meantime until I became a teacher. And then I started my first position as a teacher, kindergarten teacher at that, at David Crockett Elementary in Marshall ISD. And I was only there for 5 years, y'all. 5 years. So I'm not your traditional superintendent. I didn't come into education the traditional way. And so after being a teacher for 5 years, then I rolled over into the assistant principal position. I had just thrown my hands up. I interviewed, I didn't interview, I applied, and I made up in my mind that year I was going to be teaching second grade. Moved my entire classroom from one room, had to go outside to go into the next classroom, set my whole classroom up, and I looked around and said, okay, I'm a second grade teacher now. And I got the phone call, hey, here's some positions that are open. You want to apply? And I was like, sure. Well, you got an interview now. And it was one of my former 5th grade math teachers, bless her heart, and I still love her to death. And I know she's smiling right now, Miss Bertha Davis. And she said, well, baby, go on and get your application, turn it in. Right. And I said, yes, ma'am. So when those type of educators in your life speak, you listen.
Yeah.
So I filled out my application. I was nervous, my first job. And the principal at that time was Dr. Rochelle Lightley, who is the current superintendent of Marshall ISD. I ended up getting the job. And at that time, don't underestimate, what month is this, y'all? What are we celebrating right now?
Women's History
Women's
Celebration.
history.
Some people say, we need a man. We got a female principal. The duo with us as principal and assistant principal, we knocked the socks off of it. Our students
wow.
had the best opportunity.
Yes.
So as we transitioned, when she was promoted, then I was promoted as principal because she had been sick, had been out. And guess what? I was doing it. She moved a love seat in her bedroom while she was out sick so she can still coach me. Although she was going through what she was going through, the students were still the center focus. And I can't help but to still keep saying, even here in Karnack, our students, they have to be, no matter what you're going through. And so I became the principal, and we had a bond, passed the bond, and we started changing up the schools. And then I became an elementary principal. And from that elementary principal, that's when that lens started shifting. I kept having people, Dr. Laura Cavan, you need to go back to school. You need to go back to school. She watched my mom pass away. And she turned around and watched me bury her. And then the week, sing at her sing at her family hour. And then the week later, start school. And I never missed a beat because that's the way my family built us. My brother, myself, we grieve, but we keep moving because they don't want us to wallow in that. I did all that. She said, you're gonna be an administrator. And I put my hand up in her face. I said, talk to the hand. No, you need to go back to school. I'm eventually go back to school. You got to have those people pushing you. Yeah. She was one of them pushing me. I went back. I got my principal certification, became that. Then I went back to school, got my superintendent certification, and everything just started lining up. So I like to say, aide to superintendent, the pathway. And that pathway is so strong that when I left Marshall ISD of 19 years, as it already been said, yes, I got some pink and some green balloons in here. I wonder, was that intentional? The whole entire district, my whole entire campus at the time, they called me to the office, and it was truly a surprise. I walked out in the hallway and they had a clap out for me. Everyone had on pink and green. Everybody had a red and white Marshall Maverick District. They gave me the best going away party. The whole entire district stopped in throughout the reception, the students, the parents, and I don't know how they kept that quiet. But when you live your life and you know you do things not to glorify you, but to pour into others, those are the type of rewards that you get. Fast forward, when I was announced to be the lone finalist here for Karnack ISD, the outpouring of people in the community that came to meet the superintendent was equally matched. Dr. B was one of them that was here.
It was just unimaginable.
And then the community, y'all, I can't say it enough. The community, the alumni, the parents has been so supportive. The shift of the culture and the climate of Karnack ISD, the things that were taking place in Karnack ISD, we just started adding on to those successes. We just adding on to them. And we kept adding different people and adding different programs to make sure that our kids have the best. So don't say what you can't do, but just say, if you don't know what you want to do, say whatever the Lord has for me, because what he has for you, it is for you. And that is where we are with Karnack ISD. And the last point I like to make, Dr. Adrienne has her book talk about the imagination. Imagine a school district where money is no object. Imagine a school district. Volunteers are endless. Imagine a school district where students, we have to tell them, well, we don't have enough room. I'm sorry, we can't take any more students. Imagine a school district that students are fussing at their parents because they want to get up and come to school. Imagine a school district that whatever our students need and want, because there's a difference, we have it. Well, why do you have to imagine that, y'all? What are you going to do to make sure that we can accomplish all of those things? You may not be a part of our Karnack ISD community. You may not even have kids. You may not even have grandkids. But guess what? Why do we have to keep saying imagine it? Why can't we say, here's the reality? Here's what we're doing. We are doing this with the help of our community. We are doing this with the help of our businesses. We are doing this with industries that want to move to Karnack ISD because, y'all, we are in God's country. We have the beautiful Caddo Lake right here in our backyard. We have a beautiful state park less than a mile from our district. We have wonderful, capable, bona fide teachers that are here and magnificent administrative leaders and a school board. So let's take out that word imagine and let's start getting to work and doing it because it takes all of us. We can't just have one person. It takes a village. Come on, join our Karnack ISD village, www.karnackisd.org, or you can go to the Facebook for Karnack ISD. If you like, what are they doing before I do? Follow those two sites and you'll see.
Oh, wow.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I got to take a second here just to level things out. Of course, welcome to the Buzz. We have started all over again. I do have, just in case you just joined us, I do have Superintendent Angela Fitzpatrick with us and Dr. Adrienne Terrell with us today. And I want to put a plug in since Dr. Terrell loves the HBCU and all of us are Wiley graduates. I'm going to put a plug in for one of our favorite businesses today, The Tailgate with Denisha Dooley. And The Tailgate, let me tell you, you want to get something from The Tailgate. All of your paraphernalia for HBCUs. If you are Greek, part of D9, let me tell you, she has some items for you. So I want to say hello to The Tailgate, a very special business that is owned and operated by a woman, and so we celebrate that. And she is not doing this business alone, but she is doing it with her daughter, who is still a teenager and has been working this business with her since about the age of 13, and now she herself is a college student. So we say hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you are going to be tuning in to our Tailgate business owners. And we are back to our programming with Dr. Terrell. Dr. Terrell, I got to find out what was brewing in your head. For a minute there, I saw a little doctor. You know, I always say that Kimmett is my doctor. One day he's going to take care of me. So I'm holding my age, y'all. I'm not lying about it. I'm just holding my age until we can get this child through Howard.
Yes.
And we're also taking funds too, so that we can have our doctor go to school. All right.
Yes. Yeah. You did see him. That's who I'm over here like.
I'm like, that's my doctor.
Yes, that's Dr. Terrell too. He's over. You want Kimmett. They want to see you. The book. And as a matter of fact, one of our alum, he actually is the illustrator, and he's Santana, and he went to Wiley as well, and he illustrated, and he hit that baby on the head. He even say hi and smile.
Hi.
Hello.
You're
6.
You're 6?
6.
Yeah. He's 6 now. So when I wrote the book, he was.
You see how long I got.
Yeah.
But the book looks exactly like him.
The book looks exactly like him. He did an amazing job. Santana has been drawing like a plug. I'll have to include his information too on some of the. He is amazing. He wrote both. I mean, he illustrated both of the books. He even came out. I reached out to him out of nowhere, like, I have this book I wrote. I just don't know. I have the vision. I see it. he was like, let me know, let me see, let me read it. He was like, this book is so good. I'm gonna help you to get it out. I'm gonna help. And he did the work. He did the work with me. He helped me to get it where it was, and just to get me out of my box, because a lot of times that's what I wrote down. I'm over here taking notes, because superintendent, y'all be dropping some gems and some jewels. The no fear stands out to me so much. It resonates, because a lot of times we don't do the things that we know we can do or we should do, because we're afraid. And one thing, I just had this conversation yesterday. There's no such thing as failing. It's a lesson, just it's just a lesson. Fix what you messed up. And also know that you made a mistake, and just pivot, make that change. And so he took me out of that box, because I know that story, and it's so much more that I have to come with these series with Kemet. I have another book that I've written. I've also written another book. I want to do something a little bit different for older kids. So I've been writing. I just have to get it done. I know Dr. BB like, I'm waiting for that book. It's that time. You need to come on. Christmas coming, the holidays. She's on me. She's excited about these books, and that makes me feel so good, because a lot of times you don't see it yourself. You just put it out there, and you don't see the beauty, or you don't see your ideas. It doesn't look as beautiful to you, or it doesn't resonate to you as it does. You don't realize that other people actually feel that you feel. And I'm happy that people can actually feel the love in those books, and just the passion, even in the things that I did with the nonprofit. I'm definitely passionate about helping others, and letting them know, just because you went through something, that's not the end. That's not where you stop. You keep going. You have to keep going, because I look around every day and I'm like, hey, I remember saying I wanted that. And you got it. Like, you actually got it. So sometimes you just have to take a breather and step back and just look around and have a spirit of gratitude. So that's my thing. I'm just really grateful. I'm grateful for the people. I know Dr. B and I, we cry. She sees me, she's just like, she'll start crying, and we'll just start crying together. We do. We have. And Angela, she done held me up. So I mean, people, they don't know. Like, people don't know. Like, anybody from our Wiley who see us all together, you guys just don't know. These women have actually seen me in a point where I was like down, and they came, and I don't know, they just like literally like picked me, held me up, like literally held me up, and was like, I see you.
You bring that, and
I see you.
That's so interesting that you bring that, because I was sharing with my mom, and she probably thought that I had lost my mind entirely because she was telling me something that happened in the news, and it was just so tragic. And she was saying, she was talking about a situation with a child, and I said, that never would have happened because Angela, because such and such and such and such and such. That's like, no. It's like no excuse for that. And I was like so passionate about it. And then I was like, she probably thought that I just lost my entire mind. But I am so convinced and convicted by that. And knowing that I have a family, I have people who are going to say, this is not characteristic of you. There are people who expect when they see me that I'm pushing and I'm getting behind them. And when they don't feel these hands pushing, they don't feel this, they don't hear this voice. Okay, what's going on? It is not strange that if I kind of go into this super focused zone, that I'm not going to receive a text message from superintendent that says, okay, what's going on? Where are you in the world today? Are you okay? We don't see you. What's going on? Where are you? Because you want your voice to be there pushing people. Right. You want people to know that they are seen, that they are heard, and that you genuinely find space for them. And I think one of the most wealthiest things that I could do is to put a book in your hand and to make space for you. Giving you that book, I think, and I'm grateful for our church, because our church was able to purchase books and to give them to one of our local elementary schools, J.S. Clark. And they were the staff there worked with me to distribute those books, The Adventures of Kimmick, Croc, and His Cave. They were just super phenomenal in that process. Just knowing that I have these spaces and these people that when I come up with some crazy idea, because I am so good at manufacturing an idea, y'all.
Yeah.
I can come up with an idea. I just need people in the community that I can say, here's this, and I have this crazy idea. Will you come along with me? Kind of like today, will you come alongside with me and play with me? So I love this space. I just absolutely love it. Before we close today, the both of you have talked about challenges, and you brought Dr. Terrell, you talked about these students who you love, and you talked about your time with the students at Wiley College. And have you paused? Have you placed comma to see that your time there was not a period, but it is definitely a comma, because so many students like Taylor. They are doing such phenomenal things. And I'm going to ask that Superintendent Fitzpatrick would close with what's new with Taylor and the place and how God is he just keeps on bringing.
And Jalen.
Yes.
And Jalen.
Our super nephew. I want her to close out with her. I want her to close out because her mother was, y'all guessed it, a Wileyite.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about where her daughter is today. That daughter that I remember us carrying this baby around. I say all the time, it's amazing that Taylor is above normal. Because she had these unexperienced folks that loved her so much. And we were caring for this child. So I just thank God for you and what you place into those students. What is you talked about when you see them and the joys. Tell us about, because I think that is ever giving to you. Tell us about that space of your life and then the continual work that you're doing now.
When I see a lot of them on social media, so that's how I keep up with them. Unless one of them call me and ask me for a letter of recommendation, which I get often. But it really excites me, and it lets me. It's like, you know what you can do. That's how I feel with my sons. Like, I know what I can do, and I know what I'm capable of doing. But when you plant a seed and you watch it grow, and that means, when I'm saying watch it grow, it's like the decisions, the choices that they make, and things of that nature. I'm like, okay, now I can say, job well done. So when I see them, it puts a smile on my face. It melts my heart. I get excited when I see them. Like, and then I'll be like, oh God, it's been almost 10 years. Because I'm like, it seemed like it was just yesterday. But just to see them growing and maturing and being successful and positive in their space, and then not just because watching them, knowing, just in particular those two, because it's been others too. I still speak to a lot of my farmer students. I keep in touch with them, or they'll keep in touch with me, or they'll send me messages on Instagram. But just seeing, and like you said, it is a comma, because I'm always going to be there for them. I'm always going to be that person. That my number has never changed. If they have my number, then they can always still dial my number, and I want to be that person that pour into them, because even though we love each other and we pour into each other as women, there's so many other women who don't do that. And I think, and especially, and I know Superintendent, Dr. B, you can speak on that too. We have to do better as women when it comes to being in these spaces, and in leadership spaces. We have to know that we need to get that right group and connect, and so we can build, so we can grow these these groups and these powerhouses, so we can be that to the next generation, because we're losing a lot of our seasoned leaders. And so it's like we have to pass the torch, and we need to know how to do those things. We have to know, like I instill in my students all the time today, like, you guys got to know how to code switch. You can't be in here acting like you would act when you were at home or with your people, because this generation, they don't know that they have to code switch, because they're so used to being able to do whatever they want.
Yes.
So for me, the comma is to keep doing what I'm doing, and always keep the same number, or always be available on social media. When they need you, they need you. When they need you, they need you. So, and I want to be that person that's there for them.
And they need, not only do they need you, but they need you to be available.
Yes.
That's what makes the difference. And that's what I see with you, your availability, because I was going into this busy space. And when you were there at Wiley, you were the drawback. You pulled me back into space and said, this is what's going on campus. This is what we need you all to, invest in.
You know that too.
Yeah. And so, then I'm getting this phone call from superintendent that is not imagining what we're going to do, but saying, okay, so what's the strategy? What are we going to do? We need to show up. We need to be at Founders. We need to be here, or we need to be there. And, I've looked up when I'm on campus and she's taking a lunch break to come and be there with me, or something to that. I'm always super, super grateful when I see Tyler Phillips, who's in law school right now, or one of the people who has been so gracious to allow me to pour whatever I have into her. And then my mentee in ministry, who I think can preach me any day. I praise God for that girl. I thank God for Evangelist Shamaya Williams. And when I look to them and I see that, what I'm so proud of right now, as I think about especially those two, is that God, me writing a letter of recommendation is the least that I can do, because this means my future is going to be that much more pregnant and have that much more potential, because they are doing the thing. And I'm so super grateful for it. How the students are, and just even Elijah Strong, I have to just at Howard right now. Those are my adult babies. And listen, I get pretty passionate when I see them making another move forward. So it just gives me so much joy. And I know that you share in that space, and I want to thank you for saying, hey, this is what's going on campus. We need you all to draw back in. We need you not to be so busy, but take some of that skill, take some of that time, and bring it back home, and let's center it right here in this space. So I appreciate you for that. Come on, Superintendent, tell us and take us out.
All right. So as I'm listening to everything that you all are saying, I'm just sitting back here just gleaming, because I'm looking at, I know where you come from 1994 and 1997, first meeting you all the way up until y'all, we are in 2025.
Yeah.
And
I gotta say this. I asked my mom, I said, do you remember the Chevette? Okay.
I had a vet, y'all. It was a Chevy Chevette, and it was the color of this orange balloon, but it was rusty. So we called it the Minute Maid. A lot of good memories. She took me back on that one. But that Chevy Chevette took us from the young women we were in 1994, piling 6 or 8 of us in that car, all the way to the women that we are today, that are not sitting on our pockets, but doing something.
Yeah.
We are doing something, but we are not doing something alone. Behind me, last night here in my district for the junior high, we had a glow party, and it was called Let's Glow. We are not, and that's why I chose to have this in the background, because if you look at the makeup of this platform, we are women.
Right.
We are women who are doing something, but we're not just sticking right here and doing it on our own. We have other people. We have a village with us. We are glowing on other people, and they are in turn glowing on other people and then making an impact. And when you're talking about making an impact, I do. I have 4 children, and now I say 5 because my son-in-law is the bomb.com.
Yeah.
All 5 of my children are different. Mothers, fathers, guardians that are raising them.
Yeah.
No, you can't treat all of your kids the same. You can love them all, but treat them all because they all have their own path that they have to go through. It might not be the path that you want, but they all have their path that they have to go through. Respect it, still guide them and lead them, because at the end of the day, they have to make their path just like we all made our path. And with making that path, as we are touching our students in the educational system, and I know they're in Louisiana, and I'll say Texas public education, because I am a superintendent of a Texas public school district. My grades are pre-K through 8th grade. Yes, there are a lot of things going on in the world, but guess what? We have had worse, and we have made it through. So we will get through whatever comes our way. If it's an attack or if it's to glorify our school districts, we are going to get through, because at the end of the day, we are working towards making productive citizens. And as we make productive citizens, I will share, just like I said, their favorites, their nieces, their nephews, their favorite students, the ones who they pray for. And I say that literally, because before they got married, that Dr. B gave us such a wonderful prayer. My makeup was already done, and I'm like, makeup. I had to redo it again. Get you some friends that you can put in a circle and pray for your kids, and pray for their future, and pray for their family, and pray for you. And so when they got ready to get married, of course, they were young. And he came along, my son-in-law, her freshman year, that he liked to, the Lord is my shepherd, and he knows what I want. And she was like, She had never called anybody boyfriend in her life. And that man didn't stop. He kept going. He said, that will be my wife. He said in my living room one day when they finally started talking a couple of years later, and said, I'm going to marry that woman. I'm going to marry that woman. There's a story behind it. Jalen, don't worry. I'm not going to tell it. But he told me, my husband, I'm going to marry that woman. He took my husband to dinner and asked for her hand in marriage. He then turned around. My mama is deceased. And for those of y'all that get it, she's an ivy beyond the wall. He got her ring from me, because my mama said my ring goes to my grandbaby. Wow. And he got her ring. He got it cleaned up, took it and showed it to his family. Y'all, I'm finna propose to this girl. This girl gonna be mine. They are still together. They have built a house. They have a career. They've had vehicles. They don't boast. They pray together. They go to church together. And even their baby, right now he's 4 years old, and he jumping around, and he in there, he's implementing what he's seeing. They both got their masters. They're both working on their doctorate. And as they're on their computers, he's on his computers. So be careful of what you're doing in front of your kids and what you're saying, because they're imitating you as well. And they have progressed through life that now my son-in-law is in law enforcement. And I told my daughter, girl, you just wanted to get somebody like your daddy, because their birthdays are a day apart. They're both Scorpios. They're both law enforcement. I said, girl, you just wanted somebody like me, because you are a little mini me.
She is.
Yes. And so tell me what God can do, because she had a chronic kidney disease, has been in remission now for years. I mean, everything just lined up so perfectly. She is now working. Well, let me start off. My son-in-law, as they moved to Houston, he was in law enforcement at the UT Police Department with the medical center. And now I did get permission to say this and announce this. I was over here texting, can I please? And he's like, yeah, mama, you can go on and share it. He is now a lieutenant with the department, with the UT Police Department.
Tell Jalen I'm gonna whip him. He could have told me.
He didn't tell nobody, because that's the key. Sometimes when you're doing things, everybody don't need to know your business because everybody ain't praying for you. And when I tell you, I can count on one hand how many people knew that. So it's a privilege and an honor for me to be able to announce.
Jalen, I can't save you from Dr. Terrell.
Okay, I'm the winner. Because you know I'm the first one.
I cannot.
You want a letter of recommendation? You can. I put your name down for referral.
But you know,
but I will pray.
You know, Dr. A, you know, he is the most humblest person. When he receives on it, he don't want the fame and glory. He don't want the big parties and all that. He's just, I love what I'm doing. I'm gonna keep moving for myself to grow as well as my family. Because when I grow, my family grows. And then Taylor come bopping right on along, acting just like her mama, me, and adding her own little spin and her own little twist in it. She has always had a servant heart. Always. Even when she was trying to think she was the oldest, she not the oldest, y'all, but then she thinks she's everybody's mama out of all of her siblings as well.
Wonder where she gets that from.
Girl, I don't know. Tell me. Somebody knows.
I don't know.
But now she actually works at MD Anderson, and she is also working in the police department. She has the community relations at a senior level position. She has people working up under her now, and she is glorifying what they are doing there with the police department. And so she has made those moves, and she's so excited, and it's really come full circle because my mom was diagnosed with kidney cancer. And the doctors gave her 6 months to 2.5 years to live. So as a little girl, she was in MD Anderson all the time with us. I was pregnant with my son and with the baby, and all she knew, MD Anderson, she knows what MD Anderson is. She knows about the palliative care. She knows about all of those positions. And then just the other day, she had posted her little card that she wears behind her name tag. I am MD Anderson. I'm making cancer history for none other than my mama, Barbara Marshall. I pledge to live our core values of caring, integrity, discovery, safety, and stewardship. And that is what's behind her name badge as she goes to work Monday through Friday to work with MD Anderson and to help bridge the community and show the community what they are about. And so with that being said, I say, no matter what phase you are in your life, no matter what your profession is, what you want your profession to be, get up and do something. Do something. Y'all know I didn't come up with that phase, but get up and do something. If others want to doubt it and all of that, what is our new saying now? Let them. Because we have a mission. We have a calling. We have students that are depending on us. Specifically, my family is depending on me. The students here at Karnack ISD are depending on me. My board are depending on me to follow the mission, the vision, and the goals so this district could be the best district ever. And as we are floating this all around the state of Texas, the United States, the different countries that are going to see this, I want you to know we have a wonderful thing going, and it begins with the person in the mirror. You are the one that can make a difference. Instead of talking about it, be about it. Get up, give service, make sure you give back financially, make sure you give back spiritually, make sure you give back physically. But and all of that giving back, make sure you're taking care of yourself as well, because you can't help nobody if you are not right yourself. Put on your mask first, like we do on the airplanes, and then help somebody else. And as we giving back, because all three of us are tied by Wiley University. www.wileyc.edu.
Take us in.
Over in the right corner, there's a make a gift contribution. You can click on that link and you can give your money. You can do it annually. You can do it once a year, however, whatever you want to give it. because a mind is a terrible thing to waste. And our HBCUs are needing that donation more than ever now.
Yeah.
Your Texas public schools are needing your donations more than ever now. So put your money where your mouth is. Get up off your couch and off your pockets and do something.
And with that being said, we were
That's
talking
right.
about not sitting on our pockets, but these ladies and we are all in a collective agreement that we are not going to sit on our pockets, but we're going to put something in everybody else's pockets. And so you have opportunity to do that. You have the founder of Virtue's House here today. Look up Virtue's House LLC and make sure that you are giving there and that you are following these. Take the time to follow Karnack ISD and see what's happening there. Take the time to follow Dr. Terrell. She is Dr. Adrienne Moore on some of her Facebook, some of her social media. So we want you to look for these ladies. Take the time, write their names down, because I'm telling you, we could stay here for a day. We could stay here for a day because we could pour into you. And don't forget to go and to support. If you're looking for an HBCU to support, you can support the Wiley University. We came from Wiley College, but you can support Wiley University. And we're so super excited about that. I do want to say that you can, Dr. Terrell, if you will close us out by telling us where we can get a copy of those books.
You can get a copy on Amazon. So they'll deliver it directly to you. So Amazon.com, and all you need is the title, The Adventures of Kemet Croc and His Cape. And then once you pull that one up, you'll see the second one, The Adventures of Kemet Croc and His Cape, The Legacy of King Menelik II. So there's 2 editions. So we coming with the trilogy. It'll be out this year.
It'll be out this year. Y'all heard it. And I'm going to be pushing her to make sure that it is out this year. Thank you for joining this segment of the Buzz and letting us buzz in your living rooms, buzz in your bedrooms, buzz at your break rooms, wherever we're buzzing in today. Tell a friend and make sure that they are going to watch this episode. You can follow me on social media and of course follow me on YouTube as Beryl Cawthorn. And I want to share with you that I do have my own coaching and consulting, Cawthorn Coaching and Consulting, of which you can reach out to me at drberylcawthorn@gmail.com, at drberylcawthorn@gmail.com. Don't forget all the awesome things that you have heard here today. And we are not going to sit on our pockets, but we are going to put something in the pockets of others. And so we want to say thank you for joining our broadcast today.
Thank you.
Thank you.